Hi, everyone. Yay! And thank you for going into the chat and putting where you're from already. If someone who is here can just tell me, uh, one, you can see me, two, you can hear me, because there's no point in continuing if you can't do either of those things. So I'll just wait for that. Yes, thank you, Rosemary. Woo! Okay. And hi, everyone. I'm so glad that you're here. Hi, Judy and Stephanie. Hello. Lester Girl. I'm not sure what your first name is, but that's what I can see as your handle. So, yay. And Tammy, I know that you are here as well. And then W23 MPA. Hi. It's kind of funny. Hi, Sonia. It's kind of funny when your handles are um, not your first name, which I know is, a good thing for some of you, but I don't know how to call you. Sometimes it's kind of, what do I call you? So welcome, and happy holidays to those that are celebrating whatever your Mary Pat. Okay, thanks. That helps. That's what the MPA is. Fabulous. Um, Happy holidays to whatever you happen to be celebrating. Uh, Leslie, thank you. This holiday season. And or if you don't celebrate anything, welcome to winter. If you happen to be watching this or in the other hemisphere, welcome to summer. So wherever you might be right now, I'm glad that you are able to pop in and join me for a little creative session. So today, I am going to be playing with, wait for it, y'all, a new deck. Yes, I know. Okay. You're like, what? Another deck? Yes, another deck. Expect any decks next year. I have a feeling decks keep popping into my head. So there you have it. Okay. Hi, Rachel and Belinda. Deb, hi. How are you? And oh, good. You can finish those Christmas ornaments. um, and yeah, I did before. Oh, coffee cover book. Yay. That's awesome. Those I'm going to be teaching those next year here in at my local library. So I was excited about that. I'm glad you enjoyed that, Sonia. So I have this is a revamped deck. I don't know how long many of you have been with me, but I had a deck. I had it here a second ago. Oh, here it is. Let me pull it. Hang on. I have a deck called the Color Feel Color Heal Oracle deck that I made in 2021 during the pandemic. It looked like this. It was commercially printed, and it was a round deck and commercially printed, and it had 30 cards in it. And all the cards are made so that they look like I did them, like in an art journal, but I did them all in Procreate. They're all done digitally. And I wanted to revisit it because I don't have them available commercially anymore. Once I sold out of them, I didn't want to buy a whole bunch more of the decks to have on hand. So I decided to do it as a printable. And so this is going to be for sale. If you're interested, of course, me, you don't have to buy anything, but it will be available on Sunday. So if you're on my newsletter, then you will get that link on Sunday, and you can buy it as a printable deck. This deck will now have 42 cards in it instead of 30, because I had a bunch. I made this during a 100-day project that year, and so I made way more than I needed for the 30 deck that I printed. So I went back and just used some of the old some of the old ones. And oh, thanks. It's called Perrault. Isn't that delightful? And so this was the actual cover of the deck, and I made it as one of the cards, and I thought that was delightful. So this was actually, I think that was done digitally too. Sometimes I do stuff like this with colored pencil. But anyway, the idea of the deck is called Color Feel, Color Heal, and it is meant to tie emotion and color together. And there's a whole story behind it. When you get it, you will get, obviously, how I like to give you a printable to make yourself a box. So there's a box. This is the prototype. I'm still playing with that. And then there is a zine, which will tell you how the deck came about and how to use it, or ideas on how to use it. It is I have a very big love of tarot decks and oracle decks, so I like to pull a card and work with it during the day. So this was a way to tie emotion and color together. And it came about during COVID, and then morphed into what many of you have seen, which is my paint chip deck that I've been playing with this year, like changing the paint chip deck into something else. I taught a whole free little class on doing emotions on a color wheel. Like, it was a whole thing for that year. So this is what, but the problem with the color, the paint chips, was that for me, pink might mean a certain emotion, but for someone else, it meant something else. So one of the ones that I always share is like red to me always comes across as anger. I don't see red as a positive emotion, but you might see red as positive emotion. So I didn't want to make a deck that was just a single color that represented an emotion, because that would be telling you what to think. And I don't ever do that. So my deck became a riot of color. So no matter, what deck you picked or what card you picked, there was a lot to choose from. As far as, sometimes not that much, but there is always, if you start looking closely, you see color. And so this is you can use it just as an oracle deck, which would be just pulling a card. It says amused, so that day you kind of double down on finding ways to be amused and to stay anchored to that. You can keep the card out if that's helpful. But one of the other suggestions I always have is, if you pick this card amused and you couldn't take it with you that day or take it to work or wherever you were going, could you pick one of the colors and, put on a piece of clothing that had like a hot pink top, or would paint your nails that day that color, or put on a pair of earrings, or, just, do you have crystals or stones or a flower or any kind of thing, a piece of ribbon that you wrap around your wrist that just reminds you during the day to lean into being amused. Okay. And obviously, not everyone has a 24/7 amusing day or 24 hours of amusement, but if you can be like, instead of being annoyed at this, can I be amused at this? Sometimes that's helpful. So that was the intention of the deck, but it also is a great art journaling deck in that you can use it, one, to work around, I'm using the word amuse because I've pulled that, but to what does the muse mean to you? How can you pull collage elements about that? Can you just use what's in the card as an inspiration to start an art journal page? So that's what we're going to do today. This is not all 42 cards. I have 2 more to print and laminate. And so, but I ran out of laminating material. Of course I did, when you want to do something. And so, but they're, all in the same vein. I did laminate these because I wanted to try something different than other decks where I've just printed it on cardstock and left it. I feel like the laminating, I think you can, yeah, there you can see it's shiny. Hi, Teresa. I made it laminated. I felt like it also popped the color when I did the lamination. So that might be something for you to think about. And of course, I rounded all the corners because of course I did. So, and I left the backs white. Okay. I also love, like, this is the kind of deck that I'm almost shuffling, like the way you would with a deck of cards or a tarot deck or a different oracle deck, where you would be doing some shuffling, and it helps when they're laminated to be able to shuffle them as opposed to just pulling a prompt deck, which let me grab. This is my journal, my Dear Journal Let's Play prompt deck, which is just card stock. I wouldn't necessarily be shuffling this because I'm just pulling a card, so it doesn't matter. But when I am like thinking about intentions, or thinking about like asking a question about how do I want to feel today, or that kind of thing, it sometimes helps to shuffle a deck. So laminating it helps immensely. Okay. So there you have that. So I'm going to pull a card today. And let's just pull one and see what and we'll play. Okay. Harmonious is the card I pulled. This card is also what is the one that I chose for the box itself. Okay. So if I'm doing harmonious and I am going to just I'm pulling out my paint chip deck because it's fun. Thanks, Janice. And I can find, oh, look, there you go. I've got a paint chip that's got this orange color in it. So I'm going to switch to that. By the way, this is a playlist. If you go onto my channel here on YouTube and go into the playlist, there is a paint chip tag deck playlist. And I have videos for all of these cards that I made. Okay. So if you're interested in that, I stopped doing it a few months ago. The plan was to finish this before the end of the year, but life happened and I had to stop making YouTube videos for a while. So there you have it. Okay, I'm going to get a little closer with the camera, so just bear with me while it moves for a second. So that's the first thing that you can, if this is something that you enjoy, you can just go to an art journal page. You could have just found one of the colors from here, started putting down some watercolor, but I have this paint chip that's a similar color. And I also see that, I've got some greens and blues. So perhaps I will pull, let's see, I have a bunch of stuff. I have like washi tape out here. Ooh, look, see, instantly, there's some washi tape. So this washi tape picks up all the colors. So I'm just going to play and do this. Let's rip it. Scissors. So how can you use this card to decorate? I can use the word harmonious if you want. If it, it lands with you, you can use it. Let me see. I have a sheet of words that I've been putting on it. There you go. The word harmony. If anyone has ever done my word of the year class, then you have this sheet of words. I've done that for a few years. I will not be doing it this year. I've had that question, and no, I am not hosting that. I am part of a summit in January called the Creative Vision Retreat, and I will be adding some word of the year stuff into that, my lesson in there. So actually, I'm going to hang on to that. I was going to glue it right down, but I'm going to hang on to it. So if you're interested in that, that will, I'll be announcing that in the next couple of weeks. So all this is like telling you to be on my newsletter, by the way. If you're not, most of you here are on it, but if you're not, get on my newsletter. The link is in the description. All right, so I'm going to keep going. The way that these were done, the other ones, was that I decorated the back and then left the front kind of the same plain and then added the word on it. You see here, clarity, transform, and this one was a little more decorated. But, sometimes halfway through a project, changes, and it's all good. All right. So maybe I'm going to add the word in the front. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. But I've grabbed some acrylic paint because the green is speaking to me. So I'm just going to grab, whoops. And yes, I use my fingers to paint and make myself a mess. I taught toll painting and decorative painting for many years at the beginning of 2000s, in the early 2000s. And the way I taught it, it was very brush dependent. Like you have to pick up a number 12 flat for this, and you have to pick up a round brush for that. And then I started doing art journaling, and I found myself using my fingers more than paintbrushes, which I found hilarious. Can I tell you? Hilarious. Because of course I did. I guess I was over brushes. So let's see what else I have. I've got some stamps. Where are my stamps? So, because if you look at this, it looks like florals in the background. So I'm going to see if I have some flowers that might mimic that. So that's, this is where, like, what do your supplies do? What do your supplies look like? Ooh, well, that's a fun little stamp. Maybe. I don't know. And, just rifle through your stuff and see what lands, what feels fun and interesting. If nothing feels fun and interesting, pick a different card or go to your deck of, go to a different deck. So let's see. I also, it doesn't have to match. It could be, I love this, that they look like they're growing up. And it's kind of harmonious. Ha, ha, ha. So I've got a green stamp pad, a black stamp pad. I have an orange. I'm just pulling out whatever's screaming at me. Let's see what happens. You just have to try stuff, y'all. And if you don't want to try it on your piece, I'm going to try it on here first. That is very light. I'm going to try something. I don't know. A little green, a little black. Because why not? Okay, there you go. All right, I'm going to go into the paint pens. If you have been with me a while, you might know that I literally go with the first thing that pops in my head as best I can. It doesn't always work, okay? Sometimes I do overthink. I try not to, because I try to teach that as try not to overthink, y'all. Go with the first thing, because we're playing and experimenting and trying things and just see what happens. If it doesn't work, you just cover it up. It's a paint chip, some washi tape, and a stamp, for goodness sakes. Let's be really clear about that. All right, I'm looking around to see if anything on my table. I got sent some happy mail. Belinda, are you here? Yes, I did see her. Yay. So thank you for that. It's delightful. I owe you an email. I love this. So this is a stevia or Truvia. I don't know what this is part of. It's just part of it. But on the back, it says make time for playtime. Y'all, could that be any more me? All right, so I love this. Not quite. But she also made an absolutely gorgeous envelope. Love it. And let's see if there's anything on here. Because when someone sends you a delightful envelope, you use it. So if you send someone some happy mail, or if you're just sending something in the mail, even if it's, a greeting card, geez, it could be a bill. Don't be afraid to just grab some stencils or stamps and just add a little zhuzh to it. The person receiving it might just get it might make their day, it might make them smile, just because you zhuzhed up an envelope a little bit. So go for it, people. I have an envelope, envelope folder, for lack of a better term. I know there's a term for it, but it's like a We Are Memory Keepers envelope maker, where tells you where to score it so that you can fold paper. And I love it because you can take any paper and make it into an envelope. So just because this was what Belinda did doesn't mean I can't zhuzh it some more. So I'm going to zhuzh it. Zhuzh. I love that word. And so for those that know who Zoe is, by the way, she was not able to join us today. She usually does, and she just wanted to make sure that those that know who she is, she said happy holidays to all of you and that she misses you. She is taking care of some stuff for her family, and I'm sure we will see her in the new year. Ooh, super cute. Okay. Maybe. Yeah, maybe not. All right. I also love this Make Time for Playtime. I'm loving the harmony. I'm still going to do that. Let me put that down. It will remind me. Maybe I'll decorate these little flowers a little bit. And since I've got some white now, because of the white here and the white there, this is just a gel pen. Yes, Zoe is an absolute lovely human being. She, the reason some of you know her and why I'm talking about her, one is she is in my membership, the Creative Playground. A lot of people that are currently right here today, I know, are in that. And so in the playground, we get to know each other pretty well in our live calls because we get to, see each other's faces and talk, as opposed to here on YouTube where all you're seeing is my hands and hearing my voice. Your energy is here, of course. Oh, super cute, super cute. But, it's nice in a live Zoom where you can chat and get to know each other. All right, so I'm not sure what else I want to do to this. Oop, I know what I do. Just popped in my head. So this has got black lines, and this feels like maybe I can add some doodling in here, and that will tie the stamping I did and bring the black up, because there's also black in the butterflies of the washi tape. So that is like a design thing. Just, can you make it cohesive? And it ties it together, which is lovely. Oh, Janice, sure. Let me make a note. Janice asked if I can, the envelope maker, if I can send a link. I will, but let me write a note, and then I'm going to show it to you right now so you can see what it looks like. It is this. It's called an envelope punch board by We Are Memory Keepers. Okay, so this is what it looks like, and it comes with a score tool, and then this punches the makes it curve, punches this part out, and then if you put the point in here, it makes the rounded points. Okay, but let me make a note, Janice, and I will send. Looking for a Post-it. Just give me a hot minute with the newsletter. Envelope link. I'm sure you might be able to find it, but it'll be helpful for you to do that. It is not something, I have no idea how much this is because I got it at a thrift store. It was one of those delightful finds that I was like, what? Would I use an envelope punch board? Probably not full price necessarily. Although now I will tell you probably, because I use it all the time. So for those that are in my membership, you get Happy Mail as part of the accountability program that I have. And a lot of those envelopes are made with that punch board. So I just love it. It's really fun to work with. And you know, if you can find like a scrapbook pad of paper like at a store or something, and then you can make envelopes out of them. All right, let's put this up here. Okay. I'm also going to highlight that word because sorry, banging around here. I don't like the way that's just sitting there. This is plasticky, so I'm just going to have to be careful that it dries. All right, and the last thing I'm going to do is take my black stamp pad and just dirty up the edges. Okay. Put my lid on. All right, so this is the card I pulled, and that was my inspiration. So you can see how you can take something like this and just look around. And I pulled this randomly. So, you know, I tried to do that right on camera so you don't think I'm planning this out. Oh, good. All right. I'll still put it in because someone else might have an interest in it. But so I wanted you to see, like, what could you do with anything? I mean, literally, you can pull a piece of fabric, look down at what you're wearing today, or, you know, the shoes that you have on, or the socks, you cannot lack for inspiration if you just open your eyes. It's all around you, peeps, all around you. Okay. I love that. All right. Let's pull another one and do something else. So I'm going to put Harmonious back in my box. All right, so let's see. What else could we harmonious? I feel like I have to think on that. Like if I was feeling harmonious, I think it just, you know, in harmony with y'all. I go with that. Oh, look, centered. Okay, that feels very appropriate. I've been feeling a little like this today. Anyone else? And so centered. How can I get centered? I don't know. Let's open this little junk journal I have. I don't know how this, I'm trying to see how this junk journal is put together so I can tell you. Here's the center. Oh, it's pamphlet stitched. Okay. This is some of my coffee dyed paper that I use, coffee dyed with stencils. There's a video here on YouTube. It's one of my viral, that's in quotes because everyone's version of viral is crazy, but it was one that went banana pants when I put it on YouTube. But this is just a classic junk journal. I think this is a piece of scrapbook paper, and there's just all kinds of junk paper in here. This was a little class I did for a summit to teach someone how to start a junk journal paper bag. I think most of you that are around me know that how to junk journal or have watched enough junk journaling videos. So let's be really, really literal. Okay. So one, it says centered. So I turn to the center of the junk journal. Okay. What Belinda sent me, which I think Belinda might have made. If you did, thank you. That's delightful. If you didn't, still delightful. But guess what? It's all these colors. Okay. So I have that. It is also, if I keep going with this has a center point and then has flowers around it. This has a center point and has, you know, it branches out. So I don't necessarily want to put that there because it'll be hard to close a book. But can we, what do I feel like doing? Do I feel like coloring in all these? No, I do not. Okay. But what do I feel like doing? I feel like scribbling, maybe. Can I make like a spiral, or I don't know, like what pops in your head when if you need to be centered, what does that mean? And I'm just doing art journaling today as opposed to writing journaling. So you could go down a rabbit hole of what it means to be centered. How could you be centered? What is your favorite tools of centering yourself? And if I was doing it as, this for the art journal, and being really kind of literal and just making spirals, which come from a center. But this kind of thing is centering to me. If I start to think it out, and as I'm talking out loud, my friends will tell you that I tend to therapy myself by just talking at their faces. I'll work things out myself just by talking to someone. My therapist that I had for a long time always told me that I would just walk in, talk. I would go, okay, I guess we're done. And I'd walk out. And she was like, I never have to say anything. You just do all the talking. I find that hilarious. Until one day I needed help. And she was like, that was the first time I actually got to talk back. I'm sure that doesn't shock many of you. But so how do you center yourself? How I center myself when I'm freaking out a little bit, especially creatively, is to doodle. Colored pencils work wonderfully. And just this design came from me doing colored pencils in a spiral over and over and just building on top of it, just the way I'm doing this now. And so this drawing mandalas is also very centering. So if you have never drawn a mandala, that would be something that you could think about as a centering practice. Any kind of doodling to me is centering, because it just brings your focus here, and you stop and you breathe and you just let go. Okay. So I think I'm going to add like 3 colors. The yellow keeps screaming at me. So let's see if I can find some. No, not that yellow. That is a boring yellow. My good yellow is so short. I actually have to go looking for it. There it is. Okay. So with something like this card, there's so many colors to pick from. So I ended up going with the actual design, which was the spiral, as opposed to just picking a color and using it. Okay. All right. So I still love this. I think I'm going to add it somehow. We're going to figure that out. This flower is speaking to me. So I'm going to grab and put that down. There's also a point where you might just want to start just playing and not worrying so much about the card you pulled. Like what's the next thing you feel like doing? What's the next idea that's calling to you? Need a piece of paper. I love letting things go off an edge. I feel like it makes your eye. I just dropped something. I don't know what it is. Oh, the lid. I think it gives your eye a space to rest when you take items off a page. That's just a personal thing. All right, got to find the lid I just threw. There it is. Okay. So Not a lot of going on in the chat. Which is fine, y'all. You be quiet, be silent. It's that time of season, that time of year where we just want to take a deep breath and do nothing. But are you playing along? Do you have a question? Is there something that you would? Any of those? Okay, so lying next to me is also a giant box. Ooh, these are fun. Of Happy Mail that people have sent me. And this was a sticker that's there, plus these gorgeous stamps. I think I used these last time. But this stamp has that similar thing on it. So I'm working on a washi taping a butterfly to cut out to go in the center of my page. Oh, fantastic. I'm washi taping. I love it. Oh, okay. I love this. Will it? Okay. I'm going to cut it in half and put it on both sides of this. Now that's just, I just didn't want to have to deal with that. So that's still available. There you go. Okay, I love that. What if one of my favorite phrases. What if I just did this? What would happen? How would it look? Does it look weird? Maybe. I don't know. If it doesn't work, I'll do something else. Okay, there's that. Oh, those are rub-ons, so I don't want them. Okay. I'm still going with I'm still on the word centered. This is, again, my brain on creativity. And this was in the stash. And I think nature is very centering as well. So I love this. It has the moon phases on it. It's got the sun rising. It's got a lot of elements in it that to me are centering. So could it be a focal point? Possibly. Again, you're watching my brain work, y'all. Never know if it's the right move because you don't have a right move. All you have is the next move. Okay. Here's why I did that, just so that you know where my brain is. This is not hot pink. It's red. This is pink. So if I pick up some of this color and just distribute it across the page, it tends to pick up this color. Okay. So eyeball wise, your eye is traveling across it. Okay. Ooh, Stephanie, you're setting up an old Cricut. Yay, you, Cricut. You can cut out so many fun things. And I just finished work, so I'm having a rest and watching you. Yay, thank you for joining me. So the burgundy that I did in the color pencil pulls up from this. Okay. I still have hot pink here. So what if I add some dots? Oops. Whoopsie, whoopsie. Don't push down on your paint pen as you're creating, y'all. Because it will do that. All right, so that then pulls the hot pink out. I don't necessarily need to do anything with the green, but maybe. All All right, I'm going to glue this down first. This is from a deck that I bought. Okay. All right, so now I have a piece. It's possible I might not use this in the end. Love it still, but it might not work. I don't know quite where this is going, but it might not work. I think I need a new pin. It's getting a little crazy. So the other thing I want to do is, I love this green. Do I have something similar? I do. Oh, and for those that were not on my call, the membership call yesterday, and Kelly, who is also in the membership, for those that know her, is now a first-time grandmother. And so I know that some of you knew that she was expecting her first grandchild, and she has a grandson named OCL. So I love the name. I had to look up how to. She sent the name in a text, and I was like, I'm going to have to figure out how to pronounce that. All right, so this is my way of tying this green. Okay, is to splatter out some of this acrylic paint. I'm also feeling the urge to put it on the edges. Again, what I tell you, don't fight the urge, just go with it. If it doesn't work out, you can fix it. Turn the page. This is your playground to play, not to stress. Fabulous. Need some more green out here. And you splatter, hopefully not on my sweatshirt that I really do like. Oh, that's hilarious. Tammy said after cutting out the butterfly, she had lots of little scraps left, so she has washi tape splatters to use now. Yes, you do. Okay, so I've got this. Do I love it? No. Am I okay with that? Yes. What I think it's missing here, there's a lot of, this is white, and there's not enough white. So one, I could splatter again. Or two, I could find something else that would bring in some white, or a stencil. That's what I need. I need a stencil. A stencil in white. Okay, give me a hot minute. I have to just dry this a little bit, so I'm going to mute for a second. Okay, it's not completely dry, but acrylic paint and the really wet paint pen is just taking an awful long time to dry. So what I'm thinking is I could just use a paint pen, but I'm going to use, some white gesso. And And I had just dumped this stencil on my table. So I have these swirls. Might try them. Let's try a swirl and see what we think, okay? Okay. Let's try one, see what happens. I think I'm liking that. So let's see. So I like the swirls because of the whole, like, I made a spiral. So let's see. And I'm not being very neat, which is okay. And unintentionally, I made kind of like a swirl. Nope, now I've got a pink spiral. Oopsie whoopsie. I've made this swirl across the page. See, oop, I'm out of, like that. That was not intentional, but now it is intentional. I'm going to make it so. So it's kind of an accident that happened, and yet it's fun. Okay, so there's that. And now I'm going to, let's see, I might need a different pen. I'm going to add some black around the swirls because there's also a lot of black here. So when I'm working with wet acrylics, instead of pulling out my Sharpie pen, which doesn't like, here, this way, it does not like, sorry, hit the camera. It doesn't like wet paint. I will use a paint pen. So I have a really thin Posca paint pen. That obviously I can't do this and talk at the same time, but that I'm going to use because it's a paint pen. Yes, it can get clogged. I understand that, but not as fast as a felt tip pen will. Okay. And I'm actually not looking to see how this looks. I'm just finishing what I started because I started doing these swirls. I'm going to do all of them. If when I'm finished and I look at it and I'm like, well, whoa, then I will make another decision. Not bad. Still not done, but not bad. So I've got a black paint pen in my hand. And the same thing, I'm literally not looking. I'd made a decision to put these black dots down, and I'm not questioning that decision until I'm finished. Because, you know, I have to finish. If not, it'll look half done. That's kind of fun. Okay. And then I'm also going to see, I'm still feeling I need some more green, and I have 2 paint pens. You could use anything. I could have used the colored pencil. You could use a crayon, whatever you have. So both of these are kind of a weird color green. Honestly, not that green. So I'm going to just add a few because I'm not in love with that green. but I put a couple down. So I'm going to live with it. Same thing. I do always follow through. Okay. If I put a couple dots here and I'm like, whoa, that wasn't the right thing, I do put it in a couple other spaces and just let it be. Okay. Oh, thanks, Judy. That's good to know from your end that it brought it together. She said the black dots bring it all together. Fabulous. Okay. Is there anything else? I don't know. Maybe I need some words or something. Let's grab the word stuff. Okay, I have a variety of things. I have my happy, not happy, but my standard Tim Holtz. I have that. I also have the I am statements from for those that did the protective circle class with me. So, is there one that says I am centered? There you go. See, we're back to this. I have a feeling I used the one that says centered. Okay, but we could do, it doesn't have to be, but that could be something like, can you go and find a quote about being centered? Yes, that's what I was thinking, that Judy, that I need something here, and probably one of these words. The other thing I think I'm going to use, I'm safe within my community, because y'all, that's where you are. You're it. You're my creative community here. Okay, so I have that white balancing. I have that. So let's put them to the side. And then I also have these that someone sent. And does it feel, oh, here's some green. And some words just popped out, generosity and heart. I have words everywhere. So that's also an option, because this green is that. Let's see. Boop, doop, doop. I'm thinking I love this, but I'm not sure. A dream is a wish your heart makes. Do I feel like it's not enough? All right. Should I do I like it that it's, or do I need to put it on some white paper maybe? I like the green, but maybe I need to put it on some paper. So again, I don't know. Let's go to this envelope. I'm going to stick it on the envelope. And if this doesn't work, I will go back to my original idea, which was the community part. I ripped it a little off center, so I'm just going to make it a little more on. I don't know. See, sometimes you do run across the, I don't know. I'm going with it, y'all. I'm not thinking this. Stop thinking. Just glue. I also have this green stamp pad that I used before, which is the right green, or, a harmonious green. And like I tell you all the time, there's no wrong or right. It's just do. Just do it. Next time, I could do something different. Fabulous. And because I don't know how to not do this, there you go. It also helps tie the black in. A dream is a wish your heart makes. I love it. And it ties the green. So aesthetically, it works. I also like the saying. I can hang on to the I am safe within my community. If I felt like it, I could always add it, but I don't really do multiples unless that's the page aesthetic to do multiples. But so we started with this, and that's what I ended up with just a little bit of playtime, which is delightful. So where's my card? Here we go. And so make time for playtime. Keep in harmony with whatever is around. A dream is a wish your heart makes. Stay centered during this holiday season. Okay. So yeah. Oh, good, Tammy. Tammy loved what she created. Yay. I hope that it did give everybody a break today. Like, even if you just sat here and hung out and watched and just took a deep breath and watched someone else create, I still find I do that for myself. I watch YouTube videos of other people creating because it is also calming to me. I also get a lot of ideas from that, from watching someone else work. It might just be that they pick up a pen in a pen and use it in a different way. You might not have remembered that you had colored pencils, and today I used a colored pencil, and you're like, whoa, I forgot I had colored pencils. So you can go find them. All right. So, always watch. I do always encourage you to watch other people, see what is resonating with you, let go what doesn't. Sometimes ask yourself if something is not working that someone else is doing. Like if there was something I was doing on my page today that it didn't sit with you, you didn't agree with it, you didn't like, you wouldn't have done that. That's always a way to dive into your own practice and see what would you have done differently? How would you have done that page? How would you have interpreted that word or that card? What would you have done differently? That's how you learn your style and make your creative practice a little bit stronger. Okay. And so yeah, that's all I have for today, y'all. Our hour is up, but this deck, if you are on my newsletter, this deck will be available on Sunday. So if you're interested in it, it is a printable deck, obviously. It might be something fun to give to a friend because it is a printable. You can print it on cardstock and cut it up. You can use the box. I can't find the box. There it is. You can, this is going to be part of the printable is this box. So you can use the box if you want, or put it in, a little bag, maybe you're a sewer and you want to sew up a little bag and put it in. This is the type of deck that doesn't have to go to a creative person. And what I mean by that, let me clarify that because that sounds absolutely ridiculous because we're all creative. Hello. What I mean by that is it doesn't have to go to someone who does art or journaling or anything like that. Oracle decks are loved by people, just ordinary people who don't do art, and they just want to have a word to inspire them for the day. So it is also something you could gift to a friend that might not have an art practice, but that loves decks in general and just wanted to have something fun and pretty to look at that they could maybe stick on a mirror or, in their car if they drive a lot or on their desk at work. So just think about that. Okay. So that will be up. And if anyone has any questions, you know where to find me. Just send me an email. You can leave a message on this if you want to. Yes, Judy said that these would be used for writing journaling as well. Absolutely. Absolutely. They're pretty, but yes, a lot of people use Oracle decks and tarot decks and inspirational decks for just finding where they want to what they want to write about today. Okay. If you happen to be a journaler in the writing sense, as opposed to the art sense. Okay. So thank you all for being with me. This will be the last YouTube, obviously, before the end of the year, but I will be doing YouTube lives next year in 2026 as well. So I don't have any schedule right this moment. I have to leave my schedule a little loose. So just again, I will reiterate this. Get on my email newsletter. That is where I send one pretty much every Sunday. 90% of the time I send a newsletter on Sunday, and that's where you will find out where I am and everything that's going on in my life. Okay. Thank you all so, so much. And we will see you another time. Happy holidays, everyone. Take care and Happy New Year.